it's the way that I explain it to my daughter, Olivia. And again, she's 9 years old. But I tell her this. Imagine you have these two angels. They listen to you all day long. They don't really know the language, so they don't know the word no.
Mm-hmm.
They only listen to what you're thinking about, and they want to give you more of that, right? And so instead of saying, I don't want to be cold, because all they hear is cold. Thank you for the heat. Right. Thank you for the heat. And when they hear thank you, they want to give you more of that.
Yes.
So constantly think for the things that you have, and you'll get more of that and keep going. But if you're constantly, I don't want traffic. I don't want bills.
That's right.
All they hear is traffic, bills. Let me give you more of that, because their whole job is to give you more of what you're thinking about.
You have described the law perfectly. Peace and riches blessings. I am Michael B. Beckwith, the host of Take Back Your Mind. Peace and blessings, everyone, and welcome to Take Back Your Mind. I am your host, Michael B. Beckwith, the founder of the Agape International Spiritual Center. And every week I get to have a conversation with individuals that I want to talk with, individuals who have, in their own way, opened their heart, took back their mind, and allowed for their life to unfold, to touch many people, to be a shining example of possibility. And I have someone with me today here in the studio. Sabrina Soto.
Yay! There's no crowd, so I'll just clap for myself.
they're screaming right now. Sabrina Soto, your turn.
I love it.
Let me tell you, if you don't know who she is, I'm going to tell you a little bit about her. Celebrated interior designer, TV host, and lifestyle expert, known for inspiring and empowering audiences to create intentional, beautiful lives. With her Hulu series, The Sabrina Soto Show, she blends her expertise in home design, wellness, and mindset to provide practical advice, innovative hacks, and heartfelt conversations with top experts in their fields. From her vibrant career on HGTV to her popular podcast, Redesigning Life, Sabrina has built a reputation for sharing actionable tips on manifestation, personal growth, and intentional living. Her approachable style and authenticity makes her a trusted voice, which is why I have her on here, in both design and in motivational spaces. As a proud first-generation Cuban American, Sabrina's heritage has shaped her values, work ethic, and creative vision. When she's not on set or recording, she loves spending time with her daughter Olivia, cooking, and crafting a home filled with love, culture, and purpose. Sabrina, welcome to Take Back Your Mind.
Thank you so much. That was a great intro. I feel like we're done now.
Now they got to hear you laugh.
It was great.
And why you laugh. Give us a little bit of your backstory as to how you ended up in this particular, space that you're doing. You have this TV show. You're having to teach people intentional living.
Yeah.
You're taking design to a whole nother stratosphere.
Try to.
Yeah.
But I said this to you. You had a lot to do with it. I was very miserable in a job that was paying the bills.
That was my fault?
No, wait, I'll get to that.
Okay,
that was your, no.
Okay.
And I watched you on The Secret and the rest of the teachers. And I'm sure a lot of people, when they read books or listen to podcasts, and there was this moment of, I forgot,
Wow.
and I watched you, and I knew at that moment that I can recreate my life in a way that I felt passionate about. And you changed my life that day. And so I ended up that night, after I watched The Secret, I found my first HGTV job. And that was on
that night.
That night, I finished watching it, that I fell asleep knowing that I was going to be able to do something that I was passionate about. And at 4:00 in the morning, I was woken up and I found a job listing on Craigslist. And that was my first HGTV show. And out of nowhere, out of not knowing any connections in Hollywood or having an agent, none of that happened. It was as if the universe immediately gave me the gift of a new path the next morning, hours after I watched The Secret.
Wow, because people like to quote me in that where I say, out of nothing and nowhere,
Yes.
Something can manifest if you're in vibrational alignment with it.
It's true.
And so you watched it, and then the next day,
Hours, yeah.
And what compelled you to go to what did
Craigslist.
Craigslist, really?
Yeah.
You got a job on Craigslist for real?
Yeah. I don't recommend that anymore. Maybe this is a long time ago. This was 2006.
Right.
It was, I couldn't sleep. And I just felt this overwhelming excitement, which again, out of nothing, out of nowhere.
Right.
Just, I felt it in my soul that I had a new path and it was coming. I didn't know where it was going to come from, or I didn't know anything. I just felt excited. And so I couldn't sleep. And at 4:00 in the morning, I got up and I thought, okay, I'll just look on Craigslist to see if there was anything in the media category. And there was this ad. And 16 weeks later, I was on set filming my first show.
That's fantastic. So basically, you didn't know intellectually what or how, but you said you had an overwhelming feeling of excitement. So that feeling was a vibrational alignment.
Right. And that's what you teach all the time.
Right.
But what happened, so again, if anyone's listening, I saw the ad on Craigslist. I sent in my information, but I didn't hear back.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear back again. If it was 16 weeks later, it took for me to get the job. So there was multiple interviews. But what happened from me sending my information that night or that morning is I started training for the job that was, I hope, coming, right? I didn't know I had it.
That's because you started actually training.
Right.
Before you even got the job.
Correct. So I started getting TV ready in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I started working out, eating better, looking for wardrobe to be on TV. Again, it makes, for the people around me at my life during that time, they thought I was nuts.
Right.
Like, you don't have a job. You're still working in mortgages and staging homes. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
But I just knew, and nobody was going to push me off of that pedestal.
You were inwardly preparing.
Correct.
Thus created an opening for that which was ready for you to manifest. Wow, this is beautiful. You just gave a hack on manifestation.
And that's the hack. But another thing that I did that I find myself sort of losing my way is at that moment, I knew something was coming.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, again, like I was so adamant about it that nothing was going to push me off that path. But I find myself now forgetting that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the magic. The magic is allowing the universe to create miracles in your life, not being so married to one way and allowing magic to happen.
Yes.
And sometimes because I'm a Capricorn, and I love to control, that I want to choke the universe. It's like, you have to let go.
Yeah. I say let go from the get-go.
Yes.
And you'll never know if you don't let go.
That's true.
That's true.
But it's the letting go that I find to be a challenge at times.
Yeah, but you're speaking about the practice that we want people to catch, is that this is actually a way of living. It's not one and done. You have to continue to live in the let go. You have to continue to live in that feeling tone that something is coming. It's already here.
That's right.
And you're radiating it, and then there's a match. And I liked what you said, you don't have to, sometimes you don't know exactly what it is, or you can't make exactly what you want happen. But we live in such a limitless universe that if you live in the let go with that sense of enthusiasm that you had, something shows up that matches that.
That's right.
Because that's law.
It sounds like magic, but it's not. It's law.
It's law.
And another thing that I realized that what I was doing was I was taking care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Physically and mentally. I stopped watching some reality shows, that people find to be fun.
Addictive.
Yeah, it could be addictive. I started eating differently. I started, I tried to let go of old habits that maybe weren't serving me. So in the training was taking care of myself, which then raised my self-esteem, which then raised my vibration.
Yes. Your frequency was different.
Right.
Yeah, I always teach that your frequency is your currency. And so you shifted everything, your food, what you ingested in terms of TV.
Yep.
And that's difficult for people because people get addicted to certain programs, and some of those programs are downward spiraling.
Right.
Make people fearful, anxious, and you took yourself out of that, and you became a vehicle for the next level of your iteration.
And I'm still practicing that to this day. I found myself a few months ago last year starting to listen to crime podcasts. And it's sort of addicting. And I was really, it was entertaining for me. And then I'm like, why am I listening to these people getting murdered and chased and then going to sleep at night? And then I wonder why I have anxiety.
Right.
So I had to stop that.
Yeah. Because it gets imprinted in your subconscious.
Right.
And then it becomes a part of your dream life, and then a part of the thought forms that you have. You have to be very astute when choosing entertainment, because you can do that stuff if you know how to, like, watch a movie and then you realize it's a movie, then you walk out of the theater and but you don't want to carry that stuff with you.
Right.
Even actors sometimes get caught up in their parts and then they end up living that particular experience.
Right.
So, you know, we don't want to do method acting.
No,
I
I don't.
do method watching TV.
No, I don't. Unless you're watching my show.
Yeah. But that's different. Now listen, when did you know that home design was more than aesthetics?
That's a really...
you're in a whole other space now.
Yes.
Because
I was doing mortgages and real estate. I realized, so growing up, we were pretty comfortably, like financially comfortable. And we went from that to very, very, very poor. And my mother always taught me that no matter what, you can still be proud of the home and it's your sanctuary. And so my parents ended up splitting up. My mom, unfortunately, was just never home anymore. And I was sort of alone in this big house that was falling apart. And I made this sort of agreement with the house that if I take care of you, you can take care of me. It became sort of my best friend at the time. And every day I would come home from school and clean the screens.
You went to high school?
Yeah, I was in high school. I would clean the screens or clean the baseboards, and the house was just beautiful. And so because I had nobody to come home to, I came home to the house, and it was my sanctuary. And I think when you watch these shows, there's a lot of amazing designers that spend a lot of money making beautiful rooms. But I think a lot of people, you don't have to spend a lot of money, and you should be proud of your home, whether you have deep pockets or not. So that's where my passion came from, is your home has energy, just like you have energy and I have energy. So does your home. And raise the home's energy by taking care of it like it takes care of you.
That's fantastic. You don't have to have a lot of money to do it. So that's also called the path of beauty. That when you see the beauty in something, then bring it out, that path of beauty lifts your vibration as well.
That's right.
And so you're not like, your mind isn't clamoring for another house or to be somewhere other than where you are. You're actually, instead of thinking that the grass is greener on the other side, you're growing your own grass right where you are.
You can create that. Yeah. If you have a vision of wanting to be in a mansion, whatever it is that you want, you can create that feeling in the home you currently have, no matter where you live. Right. And it's just creating those little pockets, those little vignettes of sanctuary, of relaxation.
I love it. So you have a whole career helping people transform their life, their homes, their environment. How has that changed you as you've gone into this field? Because you're like, you're a one-stop person for a lot of things.
One-stop shop.
Yeah.
I'm a one-man band.
Yeah.
I think I'd love to inspire people to redesign their life no matter where they are, because I'm constantly having to redesign my life. And I love teaching people that they can have they can live in a space not only in themselves, but in their actual space that they can't wait to return to. And I think I spent a lot of my life, in my personal life, looking for love in all the wrong places. That now in my late 40s, I've realized that home is me. I am home.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Transformation. You're like, it's like environmental feng shui.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah, you're helping people live an intentional life. You're helping people take their environment and feng shui it in such a way to fall in love. You're actually helping people fall in love with where they're at.
But they should. I mean, we all work so hard. We work long hours. We're trying to juggle life and work and family, and to come home to a place that doesn't feel good to you, to me, is just, you're losing an opportunity there. And it can be so simple as to decluttering and adding a few things that tell your story. It doesn't have to be magazine worthy. It shouldn't be magazine worthy. It really shouldn't.
Because magazine worthy sometimes not real.
It's not real, and it should tell your story. And I think also coming from a family that both of my parents are immigrants, I think we came to this country and my grandparents were sort of instilled in me, like, be proud of the home, but also make your neighbors know that you're taking care of your property, because we're sort of guests here.
I mean, on the planet?
Guests here in the country.
In the country.
Right.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
So,
because of the immigration aspect.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so I think that we always took care of our property to the point that, because we felt like guests, just like you would go to somebody's house and not be a slob or take off your shoes. But I think just like when you go to somebody's house, you want to be a good guest. I think that my grandparents and my parents just always wanted to be a good guest in this country. And so we made sure that our lawns were always manicured and our house always looked great.
That was my next question. You already answered it. Your Cuban influence. I mean, you're first generation Cuban here in America, born in Miami.
Correct.
Okay. And you kind of explained that your grandparents instilled something in you. So that's from your culture.
It's from my blood, is what I saw growing up. My parents and my grandparents on both sides were really hard workers, and they came with nothing to this country, and they built a great life for themselves. And it's inspiring to me to make sure that I keep, that legacy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're living in a time now where there's all these issues around immigration and things of that particular nature. But, the I call it hybrid vigor. The diversity of all these kind of people living together creates a whole bouquet of such beauty and such love and creativity and community. And you brought a lot of good stuff with you from Cubano, man.
Yeah, and my grandmother was a social worker too. So she helped, it's about returning the love back to the community, no matter what you do.
Wow. Tell us, what are some of the simple but powerful practices that can help our listeners design an intentional life?
I think when it comes to your space, just really pulling back the curtain and figuring out what you really want and need. I think a lot of times I've walked into hundreds of homes, and for the most part, one thing I see constantly is a lot of clutter. And because people have a lot of things that they don't need, it becomes overwhelming to think of cleaning. So just getting rid of the things that are holding energy in your space that you don't even like or want anymore.
Right. It's just absorbing energy.
It is.
It's interesting because I have one of my assistants now, and she comes to my house and goes through, because I get a lot of mail and a lot of it's junk. She goes through every week and throws away everything that's not important and only leaves the important stuff for me to go through. I just couldn't handle it anymore.
Right. No,
because
it's
I
a
travel
lot.
sometimes and I come back and there's all this stuff there. And so I said, I got to do something. Oh, I have an assistant.
Yeah. But I mean, people do that all the time with just stuff. It's just a bunch of stuff. And then little by little, it starts accumulating and then it's overwhelming. So just taking, and it doesn't have to be the entire house at once, taking a space every weekend and just going through it and getting rid of stuff that you don't need.
Right. There was a woman many years ago that I read about who became a really good spiritual teacher. And her backstory, she was asked, how did she wake up? And she was praying and she was asking for something to be revealed. And the inner voice said, clean up your sock drawer. And she said, she was waiting for like a big mystical lightning bolt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she said, she went into meditation again and said, clean up your sock drawer. So she went to the drawer and the socks are in this disarray everywhere. And she matched them, put them together and created all this order. And all of a sudden, when she did that, she felt the order of the universe. And then that order transmuted into order in her house.
Yes.
And then order in her life.
Yes.
And then things began to line up for her calling and her career.
Triple yes.
For just cleaning up her sock drawer.
I know that sounds silly to people maybe that are listening, but I can walk into a house and see, for the most part, what's happening in somebody's life. If there's a lot of clutter, if there's a lot, especially in the bedroom, I usually think there's something wrong in somebody's marriage. And because your home represents you and your mental state. So sometimes you have to put the cart before the horse. And in getting your space together, you will feel different when you walk into work.
Right.
I promise you they're aligned.
Right. I know for me, when I wake up in the morning, I do a little process, a ritual process of gratitude and things like that. But I go to every single room in my house and put a piece of incense in there.
Really?
Every room. I do 6 pieces of incense. This is downstairs, and put a piece of incense in every room and kind of just do a little prayer, and then go on to do my water and smoothies and all of that. But it's just like I just embrace the house and be grateful for it. So it's a very intentional practice. Now I don't even think about it. I just get up and make sure I don't run out of incense. and just do the deal.
I burned so much incense in my house that the ceiling started yellowing and I had to repaint it.
I better look at my ceiling.
You should.
Now listen, you transitioned from HGTV, from a practical divine focus, and now you explore deeper themes. I mean, you were able to make a successful transition.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But again, it was by design because I, like a lot of people, I was working on HGTV for years. I've been, in
How
the
many
design
years did
space
you do that?
since 2006.
Okay, since The Secret.
Since The Secret, really. Yeah. So think about that. And I wanted more because my real passion is more about the mindset behind what I do and being able to live a fully designed life. And I was scared because people don't see me that way. What if people are not going to want to listen to that message? And I had to believe in myself.
Yeah.
But, even as much as I read on this subject, like you said earlier, it's not a one-time, once and done. You have to continue to remind yourself the practice. And, it's okay to get off sometimes, but it's about getting back on.
Mm-hmm. Now, so many people these days, and probably not, it just seems like these days, but it's probably been for a long time, struggle with an abundance mindset. I mean,
Yes.
It's not, we talk about it now, it's vogue in certain spiritual teachings, but people still struggle with that.
Yes.
How do you assist them to bring them into that dynamic?
I think in everyone it's different. There's some people who grew up in a household that was taught that money is bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your subconscious beliefs,
Right.
and I think that some people don't believe that. I believe that everyone has their own barrier between them and abundance. And abundance doesn't necessarily always mean money.
Right.
Money is just an energy. It's not good and it's not bad.
Right.
But it sure does help when you have a lot of it
Yeah.
to create adventures for you and your family.
Right.
And so I think that if you do have a mindset that money is bad and it's evil and all of that, try to shift that into what adventures can I create for the people that I love? How can I assist my community
That's good.
with this energy
That's
instead
good.
of thinking it as evil?
Yeah.
But again, abundance isn't just money. It's also health,
Mm-hmm.
friendship,
Mm-hmm.
community, love, all of those things.
Right. No, I like the question. So there's a reason to have money. It's like sometimes when I'm working with people to have a physical healing or even financial, I'll say, why? They'll say, can you pray for me for whatever? And I say, you want your body healed? I say, why? And they're a little shocked. I say, give me a reason why you want to be healthy. And are you going to sit on the couch and eat potato chips? Or is there a reason for you to be healthy? And then they'll start talking about their purpose. They'll start talking about the contribution they want to make in the world. They want to talk about being with their kids or traveling or whatever. And then that energy assists in the physical healing. So in that same sense, like you just said,
Yeah.
the money or the abundance, how can I take adventures with my kids? How can I help the community? So it becomes a reason. So it's not just materialism.
Right.
Because there's a lot of poor people with money.
Right.
A lot of people that have a lot of money, but they're poor inside.
Yes.
And they just hold on to every dollar. They're very miserly and they don't have any fun, So we're talking about a whole rounded being. It's the abundance mindset. Now, you mentioned family and kids. You have Olivia.
I do.
How old is she?
She's 9, going on 19.
So what has happened to you being a mother? What's some of the gifts or challenges?
I was they call it a geriatric mother.
Which is?
Well, it means I was old when I had her. So
In your 40s?
I was 38 years old.
That's not a, but I'll just say this. This is an aside, but recent science has said that women who have babies later in life
Yeah, what'd they say?
live longer.
Great.
They say they live, when in late 30s, early 40s. We even have a lady at Agape had a baby at 55 years old.
That sounds great. She's supposed to keep me young, but she's talking with all these code words. I don't know what bussin' is and giat. Do you even know what that? I'm not going to get into it now, but it's a whole thing that I don't even know. But she has helped me to realize my potential. I think I have taken care of myself more now having her than I did before. And I
Taking
think
care of yourself more.
Yes, because I want to be there for her in mind, body, and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that she creates this reminder how important it is to be the best version of myself.
Yeah.
Not just for her, but for myself too.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I have two, they're grown adults, and I have grandkids. And I'm aware, I mean, I stay fit and I love life, but I'm aware that they lost their grandparents and they lost their mother, passed over a couple of years ago. So I'm very aware that they subconsciously, they're like hanging around with Baba. You know what I mean? So I take care of myself because I like being healthy.
Right.
But there's also a part of me that takes care of them, takes care of me because I want to be here longer
Correct.
for them. Longevity years ago, I wasn't really into longevity. I was more into quality of life. I said, whenever my soul says I'm to leave, I'll leave. It's okay. I know there's life after life. There's no such thing as death. We have more friends on the other side than here anyway. You know, when you go over, it's like, wow, you know. But I said, oh, okay, I'm going to stick around.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a wonderful spirit. I say, like, she came to the world being great. I had nothing to do with it, but she's just such a good reminder for me about also how to play.
Mm-hmm.
I did the Hoffman Institute last year or a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And there was one day of where they just play.
Mm-hmm.
I hated it, Michael. I hated every moment.
You wanted to do some work.
I was like, what are we doing here? Like, what? Did you guys run out of content? Like, why are we doing this play?
Did you run out of content?
I did. I thought that they were like they just ran out of stuff to teach us. So like, well, let's just play all day. I'm like, this is baloney. And it's a great reminder how much I don't play. And I didn't play before Olivia was born. So now I have to, like sometimes just be with her. And to be honest, sometimes that's the hardest part of parenting for me is the playing. I'm great with the packing of the lunch and the organizing her room. It's the playing that she's taught me a lot about.
A number of years ago, I coined a word called plavolving.
Plavolving.
Evolving while playing.
I need to do that.
That to have that energy of play, childlike, not childish necessarily, but childlike playing while you're creating, while you're manifesting. So you're in the spirit of playing. The same way that, I don't know if you had this experience, but when you're a kid, you would play games, but the game wasn't necessarily to win. The game was just playing.
Yeah.
And then later on, when you become older, there's like, I got to win this game. I'm playing baseball or I'm playing hopscotch, whatever, and I got to win. And you attach something to it. But when you're just in a free spirit, you're just playing.
Right.
So I just created a word called plavolving, that to maintain that awareness of playing while you're doing the work that's called for you to do.
What do you do to play?
I'm kind of an imp.
What?
An imp?
What's an amp?
I'm always kind of joking, and I'm always in play most of the time. I'm just playing.
But like, what do you do to play? Like, do you have a hobby that you play?
If I had time, I probably would have a hobby.
See, but you don't. Like, we have to play more.
My spirit is playful.
Oh, I feel like we have to do something.
You know?
See, I'm a Capricorn. I have to do something to play.
My spirit is. I mean, you know, I like sitting in my backyard and looking at nature. I like going to the beach. I like hiking. I like riding a bicycle. I like working out. I like going to the movies because I can check my brain.
Yeah.
And not absorb the movie. I like hanging out with great people.
Yeah.
You know, but playing is kind of in my spirit.
I feel like I should cross stitch or something.
You should do what?
Cross stitch or something
like
that.
this?
Yeah, you know, I feel like I need.
But you turn that into work.
You're right. Okay, forget it.
This sweater is not quite. This sweater's not quite right.
I'm still a work in progress. I am still a work in progress.
Now, I look at my evolution over the years. I used to be the director of a training of a prayer ministry. I used to be on faculty at this university, and I was always playing. And people were saying, "You're not serious." I said, "There's nothing serious going on in the universe.
Yeah.
Why do I have to be serious about something? There's no such thing as lack, scarcity. There's no such thing as death. You don't really lose anything." So I couldn't get into that box. Once I popped out, now there was a time before I popped out that it was serious and it was like, got to do this or whatever. But now I'm just more like, I just play. It's nothing. I don't take anything serious, but I take things reverential. I have reverence without seriousness.
Right.
So it's a different vibration.
Right.
So even when we have challenges and stuff, I kind of know it's going to work out. It's a built-in feeling. I don't know, just like you didn't know about this job.
Right.
I don't know how it's going to work out, but I know it's going to work out.
Yeah, because the universe loves you.
Yeah. So I just hang in that vibe, and then when it shows up, it's like, oh wow, that was an interesting way that showed up.
Yeah.
But you can't get there if you're too serious.
Right.
You can only get there if you're praying and playing.
I'm going to play more.
Yeah. Okay, we'll play. What do you think the biggest misconception people have about actually designing an intentional life?
That it's hard, that it's difficult, that it takes time and it takes money and it takes resources. And I just feel like we're in the day, we have information everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the capability to create any life we want. We just have
Say
to believe
that again.
in ourselves.
I want you to hear what you just said, because you're tuning in to come out of any sense of victimhood, any sense of life is stacked against you. So many bad things have happened. You'll never be able to be happy or healthy or prosperous. Say what you just said again.
I don't know what I just said. I was too busy listening to you. What did I say? I said, you have the capability of creating any life you want.
That's right there.
And that's not to say that I'm not I have challenges all the time.
Of
I
course.
mean, we lost our house after high school and we were homeless, nowhere to live. And I slept on the floor of my bathroom, a bathroom, because it was the only heat I had. Slept next to a toilet for months. Again, I still created a beautiful life, and still things happen. And I try to be playful about them and just know that the universe will take care of things. But you have to take the steps in order to start creating the life that you want. Whatever that may be, it's going to be different for everyone. It's not about sitting around. It's about taking those moments, those steps, those phone calls that you feel that little, it's like I call it a ping. It's like, that's what it feels like in my heart. I get a ping of, I should call that person. And then all of a sudden it was like one thing leads to another, and I've got an opportunity that would have never happened. So it's just about doing the things in your power to raise your vibration. Let the universe take care of the rest.
No, I'm liking this, but you're doing that in the spirit of play. So when you're in this bathroom, did you create a beautiful space in it? I mean, what was your mindset? You lost your house.
I was grateful for the heat.
Okay.
So again, most people would be, I'm sleeping next to a toilet. This is horrible, on linoleum. And I thought, this is so great.
Your whole family was homeless? You and your mom?
Basically, yeah. And this was before we lost the house. So the house fell apart. We had no money.
Right.
There was no money to fix anything. So the only heat was in this one bathroom. But instead of being like, this sucks, I'm next to a toilet, I'm going, this is awesome that I have heat for the whole night.
Yeah. So you're basically sharing in terms of coming into the intentional, going back to the abundance mindset. Your attention went on what you had, rather than what you didn't have.
Right.
Now that's a key.
That is the key.
That's the key.
Say that again.
Yeah. You put your attention on what you had.
That's right.
Rather than what you didn't have. So you evoke the law that says, to he or she who has more is given. And to he or she who has not, even that which they have shall be taken away. So when you vibrate at the level of having something, which is why gratitude is so very important. We can't ever overemphasize gratitude. You were grateful for heat. So that created a space for your life to unfold, because you were operating from having. Right. I have something.
Right.
Whereas many people, the challenge, they constantly look at what they don't have. And they compare themselves to other people that may have something they don't have.
Right. And it's so difficult, or it's easy to do that with social media, but it's the way that I explain it to my daughter, Olivia. And again, she's 9 years old, but I tell her this: imagine you have these two angels. They listen to you all day long. They don't really know the language, so they don't know the word no. They only listen to what you're thinking about, and they want to give you more of that, right? And so instead of saying, I don't want to be cold, because all they hear is cold. Thank you for the heat. Right. Thank you for the heat. And when they hear thank you, they want to give you more of that.
Yes.
So constantly think for the things that you have, and you'll get more of that, and keep going. But if you're constantly, I don't want traffic, I don't want bills.
That's right.
All they hear is traffic, bills. Let me give you more of that, because their whole job is to give you more of what you're thinking about.
You have described the law perfectly.
For a 9-year-old.
Yeah. And no, that's beautiful. You got to be able to explain it to a 9-year-old, because the law only is interested in what you're interested in.
Right.
So if you're interested in what you don't have, you get more of that.
That's right.
And that's why you can't say, I don't want to be poor.
Right.
Because the emphasis is on poor.
That's all
I don't
they
want to
hear.
be sick. I don't want to be stuck in traffic, whatever. So it's shifting attention into the gratitude mindset. So now, you're on Hulu now.
Yay.
You went from HGTV.
Yes.
How many seasons were you on there?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know, probably 30. I don't,
Wow.
yeah, a lot. It was many, many years. And now the new show is a co-production with the Design Network, and we are distributing the show on Hulu. It'll be on Amazon Prime, Roku, and Samsung. So it'll be available a lot of places, which I'm so excited about because it's merging everything I'm passionate about. So design, fitness, spirituality. You are an amazing guest on the show. Your segment was so fantastic. I was so grateful for your time.
Thank you for the invitation.
But I think it's what the world needs right now. I don't think anyone's going to watch an episode of the show and not take something away from it.
So you've combined all of your gifts.
Yes, and I created, also the guests are the most amazing experts in their field.
So you combine how to live an intentional life,
Right.
Design,
Yes,
beauty, food,
wellness, spirituality.
and they let you get away with this.
They did. But okay, again, this show I've been pitching for 10 years. 10 years.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people would look and go, you should give up. Like, obviously nobody wants to watch it. But I just knew that the universe was going to take care of the timing. And truthfully, if the show would have aired 8 years ago, I don't think it would have been this show, and I don't think it would have done well.
Yes. So you're basically articulating that a delay is not a denial. That's what you're articulating. Yeah.
It's
It
so
appears to
true.
be a delay to us.
Yes.
But it's actually, you're not even the same person you were 10 years ago.
No.
So the person that people are seeing now is a person that's more developed, more unfolded. You got a baby. You've grown in so many different ways. So you're now the right person to do this show that you had caught 10 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to become impatient, especially I think a lot of people get impatient when it comes to love, creating, like finding a love partner. And if they're dating and it doesn't work out, they think, oh, and they get so sad. It's like, that's not your person.
It's not your person.
It's just not your person.
You're with somebody else's person.
Yes, and maybe not. Maybe that person's just going to live, alone for the rest of their life. But
Right.
but it's not your person, and the universe will bring the right person at the right time when you're ready.
And I understand the right person showed up in your life recently.
Yes. Well, I mean, we've been together for a few years, or at
But in
least.
terms of...
But no, we just got engaged.
Right.
But I've been through a lot of heartache when it comes to love too, and I know now, looking back, that it all unfolded the way it was supposed to.
And who you are today and who he is today is probably different from 5 years ago.
I was not the same person.
Yeah. In a relationship, whether it's a friendship or whether it's intimate or marriage, you have to constantly remarry or reconnect to the new people being born.
Right.
Because if you don't do that, then it becomes stale. And so I always say that a good marriage or a good friendship is a continual divorce, remarried, constantly to a higher expression of living.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
So does he get you?
Yes, he does. Thank God. I mean, I think so. No, he does. And he accepts me for who I am, and I accept him for who he is, which is
You're not
new
trying to
for
change
me.
him.
No, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I think, not to say he's perfect, and I'm not perfect either, but I accept him for the separate being that he is, and I'm a separate being. And then when we come together, it's beautiful, but it took years. I'm 48 years old. It took me, many years, but better late than never.
Okay. But from this moment on, you're not going to say your age.
Really? Why?
Because you're not interested in age.
I'm not?
And age isn't interested in you.
Really?
You're interested in the eternal spirit of you,
Okay.
and it'll keep you young.
So just stop saying it.
Just you can celebrate birthdays.
Can I just say I'm 39?
Yes.
Okay.
This is what it is.
Great.
The body believes what you think.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking about my age.
Yeah, stop doing this. This is the last time.
Last time.
This is it.
I'm whatever age I look.
Yeah, there it is. You're looking good. So
The Botox helps a lot.
Spiritual Botox.
Spiritual Botox.
Meditation is spiritual Botox.
Okay,
You know that?
yeah. No, it is. It isn't.
Oh, yes. Intentional living and meditation. It's spiritual Botox. Because when you meditate and you hit that sweet spot, time stops and age stops. Your immune system becomes in balance. Your hemispheres of your brain become coherent, and you stop aging. So meditation is one of the greatest anti-aging technologies.
Wow. That's a tip.
Yeah.
That's great.
So you just
saved me a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, listen, in the indigenous cultures, you are a child, teenager, then you're an adult at 50. You're not an adult yet. You're not an adult till you're 50. And then you're an adult from 50 to 80. then 80, you're an elder.
Okay.
But a lot of people think that they're an adult when they become 21 or 18.
Oh.
You're still a kid.
Yeah.
You know, look at all you learned all these years.
So much.
So at 50, you finally adult. And
But it's funny, when we're 18, we think we know it all.
that's what, remember the old statement? Quick, ask a teenager everything because they know everything now.
It's true.
Quick before they get too old. Yeah, but yeah, that's just a little tip. Just stay in the frequency of the eternal. Don't deal with age, because your chronological age and your biological age are two different things. But if you want your biological age to stay young, you have to have the mindset of that. So your cells, so you can say you're 39, you can say you're 34 if you want.
You heard it here first.
And then your cells will say,
Yeah.
ooh, okay, I'm not doing cortisol today. I'm doing serotonin. I'm doing a different chemical.
Well, whatever you're doing obviously works, because you look like you're in your 20s.
I am.
Yeah. Oh, there you are.
I am 34 years young.
Love it.
So tell us about the show. I mean, we were telling a little bit about it, but
So it's called The Sabrina Soto Show. It'll be out March 17th, so your episode will be available that day. And again, it's Samsung, the Design Network, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Roku, and a bunch of other streamers as well. And every episode, there's a food aspect, there's wellness, there is design, spirituality, mindset. And so we have different experts, 3 experts per show, and so every segment is something educational but fun.
This is beautiful. So when you pitched this show, it's 10 years of pitching.
Yes.
And what did you say? What was your pitch?
Again, 10 years ago, it was a different show. It was more of a just design show.
For house design.
Right. And so I think in the last 5 years, I wanted to bring more spirituality into it. And a lot of networks weren't having it. They didn't think anybody would want to watch it.
Right.
And I just didn't give up on it, because I know that is the kind of television or program that I would want to watch and my friends would want to watch.
Yes.
And it wasn't just fluff. And I think now with social media and everyone's attention span of the fast TikToks, it's like, yeah, that's great, but what am I really learning? And now you don't even know what's real and what's not.
There's a lot of fake stuff out there.
Yes.
And a lot of people are sharing opinions.
Right. And it's not necessarily true.
It's not necessarily true. Yeah.
So it's back to curating the information so that we know that these people are the best in their field. And this is an information that you could take and really improve your life and redesign your life.
Right. This is beautiful because for many people, their television or their computer, that's their altar, that they're praying to every day. They don't even know that they're doing that. So what you're doing is we call it sneaking the spinach into the ice cream.
Yes.
So you're like having this design show, but it's carrying the frequency of spirituality, intentionality, gratitude, abundance mindset, feng shui of the home. You're putting everything in a nice package.
Yes.
And people can look at it on television, and then without knowing,
they're improving their life.
They're
the spinach in the ice cream is so tiny, it still tastes good.
Yeah, it tastes good. Yeah, it's just, like if people you have avocado ice cream.
Yeah, it's delicious.
You know what I mean? It's delicious, but you're still eating avocados,
Yes, I think that it's going to be a program that you're watching, you're going to be entertained, and you're going to find tools to better your life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So here we have all these people watching. When you thought about coming to hang out with me a little bit today, what do you want them to get?
Well, about being here first?
2 levels. What did you want to express? And obviously, we talked about this already, your new show on television, the Sabrina Soto Show. What do you want people to walk away with that as well?
Well, first, I want to bring gratitude into this moment, because I cannot believe that I'm sitting here with you. And I said this to you when you were at my house. You have changed my life so much. Your teachings, the way that you've empowered so many people, including myself, to take back their lives, to realize that they are in control. And the show is a testament to everything that you are about, because you gave me the tools in order to create the life that I've always wanted to live. So thank you for that. Thank you for having me here. And again, this show is such a passion project for me. It's my blood, sweat, and tears, and laughter and fun, and my family is involved. It took everything to create this show, and I'm so proud of it that I just hope everyone takes away what my intention was, is that everyone has the capability to redesign their life no matter where they are.
Right. You basically formatted a program of transformation, not a workshop, not a seminar, not a retreat, not a spiritual community, but you have put it together where people don't even know they're looking for transformation or intentionality to live an intentional life. You're going to just bring them to it anyway.
Yes.
They're thinking just, oh, let me go see how I can feng shui my house. And they're going to end up...
They're going to end up with a smoothie recipe.
Right. Oh, right. I forgot about that. Oh, my God. Yes. I got one for you, by the way, too.
Oh, my gosh. His smoothies, if you haven't tried, that's so good. That was so delicious.
Yeah. I got something
Thank
for
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Anything... Okay, pretend that we just finished.
Okay.
Is there anything that pops in your mind and says, oh, I wish I would have said that?
I don't know. Usually it's so in the moment that it's when I'm in the car driving home is when it's going to be like, why didn't I say that? And I'll just turn around. No, I don't know. I think I was so present here in the moment. I think everything came true. I just hope everyone who's listening to this can really understand that the life of their dreams is not far away.
Yeah.
And the universe is so fast.
Yes.
Sometimes you would be shocked how fast it could deliver your dreams if just raising your vibration to as far as you can get it. And that's just taking care of yourself and being aware of not only the way that you conduct, the things that you ingest, but also the people that you surround yourself with.
That's very important. Your community.
Yes.
Your crew. Yeah.
We are not here on earth to be loners.
Yeah. Your tribe. Yeah, open-hearted, high-minded people. You hang around with open-minded, high-minded people, you become the product of that vibration.
Yes.
So, sometimes you have to cut ties with people who are complaining and gossiping and you're just hanging in that. You don't hate them. You don't cut them out of your heart. But sometimes you have to step back.
That's right.
And, as someone once said, it's better to be alone than be with bad people.
Yes.
Excuse me, bad company.
Bad company.
And that's a very good point. Which is why we have spiritual community, which is why we have agape, so we can just vibe together.
When I came to agape, you could feel the energy in the building. You felt the love. You felt the sense of belonging. And I think everyone needs to feel that in their life, whatever that means to you.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to be a part of your consciousness.
I'm so glad to be part of your consciousness.
It's like, yeah, I know her.
I feel this. Are you kidding me? When I have a funny story, but when the crew, we were getting ready for you to come in, and my mom was there. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
My mom's like, she's a handful, but I almost gave a talking to. Like, everyone, Michael Beckwith is coming. Everybody better be on their best behavior. I mean, I was talking through my teeth, like, don't embarrass me.
That's so funny. I'm such an easy guy. I'm so approachable.
I know, but you should have seen that talking to everybody got beforehand. And then, of course, my mom, while we were talking, she wanted to walk outside to smoke a cigarette. And I'm like, right now, no! Like, sit down.
No, don't put that in your lungs. Don't let him see you do that.
Yeah, seriously. I'm like, you couldn't wait to smoke a cigarette until after, Michael.
Who was that?
But you got to laugh about life.
Oh, yeah. There's the play.
Yep.
There's the play.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my joy. This has been great.
Thank you for making me laugh.
Hey, cameraman, what do you think? You like this program? It's good. So listen, this is Sabrina Soto. She has a wonderful program. It's on Hulu, but it's going to go on other platforms as well. So you might as well look at it. You might as well tell your friends about it. You might as well spread the good news so that other people can up-level their life, up-level their vibration, their frequency, their gratitude factor. And as she said, it's never too late or too soon to begin to create and design a life that you really want to live. Don't let yourself be victimized by previous conditions, whether you're sleeping next to a toilet, next to a bathtub, on linoleum.
Or sleeping next to a jerk.
Don't be defined by that.
No.
You can just if you fall down, just land on your back so you can be looking up. And then begin to redesign your life. And then she said some very powerful things. And then when you read your vibration, you may not know how to do it. You may not know what the next step is, but your intuition may say, go to Craigslist. Or your intuition may say, call so-and-so. And then you'll discover, my God, the possibility and the potential has been here all the time. I'm now clear enough to see it. Let me be in play. Let me be in gratitude. Let me be in love. This is Sabrina Soto. She's a good energy, I'm telling you. She's great energy. And, for a 34-year-old being, she carries a lot of wisdom and a lot of transformational knowledge.
I'm going to hang out here more often. This is great. This is great for my ego.
It's great for your heart.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to ask you one other thing.
Okay.
The program is called Take Back Your Mind. When you are in a challenge, circumstance, situation that, everybody has challenges. What is your go-to spiritual hack or spiritual practice that allows you to come back to yourself?
It seems so basic.
Yeah.
Is it okay that it's basic?
Listen, if it's complicated, it's probably not real.
Okay.
Yeah.
Breath,
Mm-hmm.
water,
Mm-hmm.
and food.
Mm-hmm.
I notice if I have something really challenging and I get very stressed, first I go back to my breath because I notice that I hold my breath when I'm stressed.
Right.
So I get to regulate that, and then I make sure that I'm hydrated and that I'm fed good quality foods, because if I take care of this meat suit, then I have the energy to take care of mentally the stresses that are coming my way.
That's it. Breath, hydration, and nutrition. That's powerful. Because listen, you can go a number of days without food, number of weeks without food, days without water. You can't go too long without breath. So all three of those allow you to sustain yourself and stay in gratitude. Breath, hydration, good nutrition. That's how she takes back her mind. It opens up her heart. Peace and blessings, everyone. I don't know what else to say other than we're having a great time. So let your friends know about this program. Let your friends know about her program on Hulu as well. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. I truly hope that you are enjoying Take Back Your Mind podcast. The Take Back Your Mind podcast is sponsored primarily by the Agape International Spiritual Center. In other words, everything that you see in terms of the staff that puts this together, the editing, the equipment, all of this is sponsored by our Agape International Spiritual Center. So if you are enjoying the podcast, I'm inviting you to support the sponsor. Support Agape. Simply go to agapelive.com and make a donation. And say in the donation that you are supporting the podcast. It allows us to keep broadcasting. It allows us to keep putting these magnificent moments together with these wonderful people that I get to interview. We keep having the possibility of updating the equipment that's necessary and providing the wonderful content that many of you are writing in and saying, I really love the podcast. Support the podcast. Support the sponsor. Agape International Spiritual Center. agapelive.com. You can also text to donate. You can text the word give to 424-321-6243 and put podcast so that we know that you're really supporting this wonderful podcast. Our secondary sponsor is AdaptoZen, ADAPTOZEN. This is my superfood greens. It's nutritionally dense because I teach spirit, mind, and body. We want our body temples to be healthy. So one of the products is my superfood greens. You can go to NutraRise.com. Those three little lines you see, you hit those three little lines and you'll see AdaptoZen. There's two products, my superfood greens and a product called Elevate, which are organic mushrooms for your health. You can put both in your smoothies so that you have main ingredients for the health of your body temple. These are our sponsors. Primary sponsor, Agape International Spiritual Center. Secondary sponsor, AdaptoZen. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be wise. Circulate and share. Peace and blessings. Dynamic blessings to you, and welcome to the meditation portion of Take Back Your Mind. The long version of Take Back Your Mind is open your heart, take back your mind. Not allow your mind to be filled with debris of the milieu of the sea of mental garbage that's in the world that can become quite contagious. We're going to turn within and meditate for a moment with an intention that allow ourselves to become a paramagnetic field for high vibrational inspiration that can literally and vibrationally transform our lives. Meditation, very, very necessary, particularly during this time of a great transition we're living through. The society is transitioning and birthing something new, while at the same time, old structures are falling apart, dissolving, deconstructing right in front of us. You need to have something that you hold on to, that you surrender to, that's bigger than all of that. And meditation allows you to touch that frequency of the Most High within you so that you can be more you regardless of the transition that we're living now in the world. Got it? Get it. Close your outer eye. Distract your attention from the external world of conditions and circumstances. Just take our hands and put them in our lap facing upward. Jnana Mudra. Allowing us to have an intention to go beyond the ego's perception. And establish an intention right now. So many people are suffering from an intention deficit disorder. Not you. I want you to intend to wake up to your glorious nature and the infinite potential that is within you. Don't ask how to do it. Just establish this as an intention. I'm sitting to wake up to my glorious nature. I'm sitting to have a greater realization of the infinite potential that lies within my consciousness. Embrace that intention. And as your attention is embracing that intention, notice that the body is breathing. That breath, that inhalation and exhalation is happening presently. This breath is not in the future or the past. This present moment is a gateway to the eternal now, a present tense into the timeless. With intention to wake up to your glorious nature of infinite potential. This is a most reverential and important moment in your day. Pulling away from the world of conditions into your own interiority, where you're becoming aware that you are pure awareness. Regardless of the content flowing through your awareness, you are the awareness and not the content. Wake up. mind has drifted into conversations, inner dialogue, futurizing, moving into the past. Just come right here where your breath is and embrace your intention to wake up and begin again. Another moment. Let us rise high and wide and expand our awareness of gratitude. Gratitude becomes our altitude now and our attitude. We're just so grateful and thankful that we exist, that we allow for ourselves to unfold now to our greater yet to be, staying always receptive to the eternal broadcast of the Spirit of the Living One, saying, let there be light, let there be love, let there be beauty, let there be abundance right where you are. Because this presence is everywhere in its fullness. You are becoming receptive. We give thanks and we allow it to be so. And so it is. As you open your eyes, maintain the awareness that you are aware, and go forth into your day, your afternoon, your evening with the feeling that all of life is for you, and feel that there's nothing against you. And watch as spiritual buoyancy takes over, and you will feel like you're levitating above it all. Peace and blessings. Your time is very valuable, so I want to thank you for lending us your ear and participating in taking back your mind. If you want to submit a question for the question of the week, please submit it to podcast@michaelbeckwith.com. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today, please submit a review and let us know your thoughts. Stay on top of current episodes by subscribing to the podcast so that you'll receive alerts and not miss one single episode. And feel free to share this podcast with all of your friends and family. And until we meet again, take back your mind, and you will take back your life. Peace and blessings.